For this video, we've got a delivery of Savage Crucible figures. This is a small selection that I purchased recently, and I have been looking forward to it. The big thing starting off is how they ship this in a box that has all this beautiful artwork on it. It's got this Savage Crucible logo on the top. On one side, it's got their Cthulhu looking character. I think these are from the Wave 2 that I don't think is out yet. We got some nice artwork on this side. This is a little bog amphibian looking creature. On this side, we've got a bit more of a the reptilian looking character, looking really nice. And then on this side, I'm not familiar with this one. I don't know if they've introduced this yet or not. He's kind of like a dragon with wings, so he looks super cool also. All right, so let's get these out of the box. Out of the box. Also like they came with these styrofoam, paper styrofoam inserts. Like, very much, collector minded. If you want to keep these things mint, they're gonna get to you mint. I mean, these boxes are crisp. I open stuff, but I know there are people who don't, and people who care about that kind of stuff. So that's good news for them. So the fronts of the boxes have the same graphics. The tops tell you who they are. So this is Nin Vilimiir. It also says it on the side here. Bottom, just, legal product information. On the back, I think this is the same for each. Yep, it's the same. So take a look at that. And these have a book style opening. And you get to see the figure. Man, he looks really cool. Something about this sculpt just reminds me of the Skeksis from Dark Crystal. And then here is the text for this guy. All right, so that is Nin. This one is the Royal Guard. As we see, it says Royal Guard on the top and on the side. And there's our Royal Guard, looking really nice. The copper looking paint that they use is really standing out here. And then he has his own personal story also. All right. And then last, we've got Camo of the Isles. Try to push him back a little bit, get a little bit better lighting on him. And then that is his story. All right, so that is the packaging. Let's get them out and take a look at the figures. And before we go further, there is a cardboard insert on the inside, and it's got a map of this land. I don't know if this is different for each one. We're going to look at each one of them, but it comes with a map. The cardboard is pretty decent. It's not the thickest, but it's not the thinnest either. So you might want to hold on to this. Um, there's also going to be a foil card. And I think these are randomized. So this is what is in this one. This card does not represent the figure that goes with this release. Well, these are kind of cool. These are like your D&D type stat cards. So, this can be your advanced way of, your D&D miniatures. Here's what he looks like with all his stuff in the tray. So this one was Nin Vilmir. So that's him. Okay, for the Royal Guard, I got the same map. So just FYI on that. Here's our Royal Guard. And he does have a little baggie with his weapons. Looking cool. Then the trading card that he came with. There we go. Oh, this is very regal. That's the trading card. Oh, and this is Nin Vilmir. Yeah, okay. And Bill Nearmere came with croaking hybrid. So that's interesting. All right. And Camo of the Isles came with the same backdrop, so that's pretty much confirming that the backdrops are all the same. Here is his tray. That armor really stands out. Like these colors really, really pop. And then his card. This doesn't want to open up. Okay, this one's another Vin Vilmir. So we had him already. So if you plan on collecting the cards, you're gonna probably drive yourself a little crazy. Because they'll always be random. So just heads up on that. And then something else, uh, just for those who might care, the accessories are just kind of in the tray. They're very easy to pluck out, and the figure is going to have one tie around the waist, and it's this kind of NECA style tie. So I kind of dig that because there's not a whole lot of trouble to get these out of the package. Some figures you open it up and it's like, ooh, like especially like Hasbro Transformers, there's gonna be like 20 million ties that have to be cut and pulled out. So I like that they kind of minimized it and made it easy to get these figures out. Okay, and here are all three out of the package. And I will say they're quite stunning. Like all three of them just look like extremely detailed, very just kind of wow. I ordered these three because I wanted to get the different species and the different looks, and I like that these all came with armor. Um, but now looking at them, they're so unique and distinctive. Like, obviously, these two guys are like very specific characters. The Royal Guard is meant to be generic, but I kind of want some maybe a few more like generic ones because these are definitely main characters. Yeah, you can just tell from like the amount of just detail paint apps, like they really stand out. Um, Another thing I really dig about this line is that you can kind of tell they're going for this Conan, Frazetta type world that they come from. In the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of that artwork uh, influencing other things, movies, video games. Like if you played Roston, either the arcade or the home versions, a lot of that came from the same artwork that these things kind of come from. And then seeing that they're going to have a barbarian looking guy in the next wave, it's just going to go perfectly with this. Um, kind of gives Mythic Legions a little run for their money, but Mythic Legions is doing something a little different, like with their build and materials. So we're gonna compare these to at least one Mythic Legions here. Before we get into the individual figures, though, I will say like picking these guys up and handling them, they have a bit of a feel like a NECA figure. Um, and I mean that in a positive way, like as far as like the heaviness, the stiffness of the plastic that's being used, like it's definitely premium plastic. Um, I do think the joints seem to be better than NECA joints, just first impressions. Um, and then the paint, I mean, it's just kind of amazing what they've done with the paint. You know, like I'm gonna zoom on this guy's stomach. I mean, there's just so much. Look at the wash. Let me see if I can try to get that to focus again. There's just this incredible wash happening in dry brushing. It's just really like above and beyond. Like it's just amazing. Okay, so our first guy, what was his name? Nin Vilimir. He comes with looks like a potion. He comes with two holding hands, and then he has these kind of open dynamic hands that could hold something, or just kind of gesture. And then he's got these really incredible weapons. Um, and like the sheen, like this sword's got like this kind of multicolored silver, purple, pink type sheen to it. Even the handle has kind of like a multicolored iridescent type thing happening with it. And he has this large dagger also. These these pieces are modular. I don't know how far you can go with taking all this stuff off. I am not going to. I do not want to ruin this, but just knowing how these other figures look, you know that these pieces are modular. But the figure's a certain plastic, the parts on him are certain plastic, like these shoulder pieces kind of work in a similar way to Mythic Legions, but instead of them going into the shoulder blade, they go into the back of the shoulder. And they're kind of a rubbery material. All this is a rubbery material. Um, there are these little plates on the tail, and they do seem to be separate pieces from the tail. Like this is not part of the sculpt. This is a piece that is on top of this tail piece. And then the legs, I don't know what's going on with the legs. I kind of think the legs are a leg. I don't think this is armor on top of a leg. Um, as far as articulation, I think this is gonna, man, look at that. It's just, it is so crazy. All of them, I think their mouths open. I'll go through the other guys in more detail, but his mouth definitely opens. And there's a ton of paint there. And then the tongue is, the sculpting is just wild. Um, so head is on a hinge. The neck does not seem to move, but with all this armor, I think you'd be restricted anyway. Um, Shoulder is a disc hinge, and there's a butterfly joint. It's stiff. These are brand new out the box. Um, the elbow is kind of this weird, kind of looks like the NECA stuff where it's there's a joint up inside on this side and a joint up inside on this other side, like a disc hinge joint. And then you got, a nicely sculpted elbow. The range is pretty decent. These are, you can at least get 90. You might be able to get more, but I'm afraid to put it through too much rigor right now. I probably should have heat them up first, but you get the gist. The torso, this is basically like a dumbbell between here and here, and I'm not sure what's happening on the lower part. There could be a dumbbell down there also. And then you got the typical kind of disc hinge joint in the top of the thigh, and also a separate rotating piece, kind of like your Marvel Legends. And you've got another one of these disc hinge type um, double joints for the knee. And it's got a really good range of motion. This side's a little bit stiffer than this side, so I'm just going to show you that side. I didn't see any kind of disclaimers in the packaging like Four Horsemen do, but I definitely would say you probably want to warm these up a little bit before you start playing with them. Um, the ankle, good up and down. There's a rocker. The toes flip up, and obviously the tail moves. I think the tail is using like a ball joint because it moves. It's not gonna like hold that shape forever. Like gravity's probably gonna bring it down, and it just plugs into the back here. It's got really good backward movement, very good forward movement too on the torso. Okay, and then you got these little accessories, and there's multiple places to put them, so there's no right or wrong answer. Um, it's gonna take some work to get in there, but you know, you can put his little potion here. You could also see if I can get him to stand. This hand looks like it will be able to hold his potion also. Yeah, it's like engineered to hold the potion. So there's that. Okay, so now let's look at the Royal Guard. And mouth does open. Man, look at that. That is just striking. Oh, that is so creepy and cool. Same deal. Ball joint. So ball joint really above and below. The trunk of the neck is not movable. It's actually part of the upper chest area. Same articulation. Yeah, exact same articulation. It's probably the same mold. Yeah, these parts look exactly the same. He's got some different things going on. He's got a ton of accessories and he's got holders for all of his weapons. So they clearly thought about that. Um, I don't know if these are supposed to go on his sides, but he's got these little holders. So basically you can mount all the weapons. It looks a little weird, but you get the idea. Here we go. And then just like our other guy, he comes with those weapon holding hands. Then he has the kind of grip hands. Matter of fact, let's put weapons in our first guy's hand. Yeah, this definitely feels like what messing with a NECA figure feels like. There's just better paint. Not to say NECA paint isn't good. It's just this is just a slight step above with how many paint apps that they're putting on this guy. Okay, so there's our Royal Guard, and then we got Kamo. So I'm curious if his mouth opens, and it does not. He's a little bit different too. He kind of could pass for like a space alien type reptilian creature. Again, exact same body, just different armor pieces on him. Because of how this head is sculpted, his neck doesn't have quite the range. Like you can't make his head go back far because he's got this bulbous um, sculpture in the back. But he looks pretty cool. He's got this really nice sword, kind of this barbarian looking sword. And then he's got this kind of gnarly looking battle axe with spikes. And the little claws on his fingers are getting in the way of me putting this on him. All right, so there's that. He does have a tail. It's just a little tiny tail, but he does have a tail. And he's got what I'm guessing. I mean, this might be like a cantina. It could be for spells and stuff, but it just kind of seems like it's like for holding regular liquid. And then he's got the kind of grasping hands that come with him also. All right, let me turn these guys around the back so you can see the detail there a little bit better. Um, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Because these guys have these articulated toes, you might discover standing them up um, is a little difficult at times. He doesn't have any armor on his tail, and it is sectional though. Okay, so here he goes, and here he goes. Um, yeah, getting them to stand quickly is interesting. Okay, let's do some comparisons. So here is a Mythic Legion. And the height is not bad. I I would kind of imagine these characters being larger, so maybe the scale is a little off. Um, it's hard to say, but like a normal human head, like this head is pretty big, so maybe a normal human head would be a little bit shorter, and these would definitely be like a tad bit taller. Like looking at them, they are taller, but the lizard heads are kind of stout. You know, they're very kind of short. So I think that looks okay. They definitely will work together in a display. And then this may not be a good example. Um, this is a NECA Predator. Um, Predators are pretty tall. This is definitely not like human scale. And this guy came out recently, but he does not have the newer kind of joints. Let me see if I can find another figure. Um, okay, so here is a creature from the Black Lagoon, and this is what I'm talking about with kind of the joint system. There's a joint here and a joint here, and then there's like a piece, like a floating piece that kind of covers the joint. Um, these guys are basically doing the same thing. But like quality wise, like the plastic feels a little bit stiffer on NECA, but the overall feel is very similar. And then here's a human just for size. And he's like a tad bit on the small side for human scale. So I think these definitely go together. This is like a 7-inch line. So this is what you're dealing with getting these figures. Um, I like that, you know, you can start collecting something new and it augment something, you know. Um, I can't stand it when companies come up with new scales like McFarlane. Like I've been buying it because that's the only way you can really buy DC characters at this point in time. But having something that you can, you know, display with other figures, it just I kind of feel like you want to do both. Like, you know, you want to create a line that can live on its own, but you want to create also make something that can add to somebody's collection because otherwise, you know, why collect? You know, I don't know anybody that's collecting one single thing. Everybody's collecting multiple things, no matter what it is. Pops, um, 3.75 figures, 6-inch figures, 7-inch figures. You want them to, come together in some kind of like display universe to kind of make a bigger statement. So that's it. I definitely want some more. Um, as of this recording, Savage Crucible is having their in stock sale, so now is a great time to pick these up if you haven't. And I'm really looking forward to getting more of these. So that's a review. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and tune in for more videos coming up. Thank you.